Hello folks, and welcome to Dice Chatter. My name is Donnie, and today we have a new take on some awesome twisted tabletop trees. I made some gnarly trees a while back, and I realized I needed some more big vegetation on the table. I wanted trees that actually made a relative impact in regards to putting a model under a gnarly root protruding from the earth, or maybe a hiding spot far away from a demonic sorcerer. Even though I have a handful of 3D printed trees, they are just lacking some variety and of course that handmade flair. So we head to the drawing board, gather up our supplies, and finally we can get started on this awesome terrain piece. These trees are going to be big. Thick trunks and long branches will need to be supported, and for that we use aluminum wire ranging from 1mm to 3mm. The thick wire we cut out a handful of relatively similar lengths and twist the hell out of it with some pliers and start forming neat ideas for wild branches. And we have to also think about, where will the foliage hang from? Are there any roots protruding from the earth? You know, that kind of stuff. And once we have a neat armature, we can take the thinner, easier to bend wire and start focusing on the branches, roots, and any other extra bits we'd like to add. I may say this a few times during this build, but there is no method to my madness. Look at some cool images of large and wild looking trees online and give yourself a bit of inspiration in coming up with some awesome looking configurations. Now we have a metallic skeleton of sorts. Let's put some meat on those bones, or some foil. Simple enough, fill out your armature. Add layer upon layer of foil and thicken up your tree to your heart's desire. Who wrote this script? Also, don't use any sort of tape or glue to hold the foil together. Be wary that things may get a little finicky. I understand this can be a bit of a hassle, but you're most likely an adult, you'll be fine. If you're not going to be fine, find a friend or maybe a nice wizard to give you a hand. So the reason we are attaching the foil to the armature on hard mode is because we are using clay for this terrain build. Specifically, Super Sculpting, which means these trees are going into the oven and I only want aluminum and clay going in that hot box. Super Sculpting is a great tool because it doesn't dry out, and I found the medium firm clay was perfect for throwing in my good old pasta roller to get a lovely consistent thickness. I also use various clay tools to get some top-notch detail on the trees, and of course some crazy roll and twist methods to create neat looking roots that can give the trees a bit more dimension. I make sure to take my time with this step because whatever carving, cut, nick, or fingerprint you put on the clay will be on your final product before painting. So once again, there is no method to my madness. Take your time and make whatever twisted tree your little heart desires. Throw your creation in the oven according to the directions on the clay package and let the color explosion and painting begin. So according to the Super Sculpting package, I didn't need to prime the trees here after baking them, but I didn't want to take any risks. So we gather up a bunch of paints that I may use in this terrain build and do your typical white zenithal highlight after everything dries for my outdoor adventure. From here we grab a few brown inks. I decided to do a series of sprays for my airbrush that hit the underside of the trees and of course from above. The underside will get shots of darker browns, while the side exposed to more light will find more brighter sepias and reddish browns. After this, we set the airbrush down for a moment and bring out my makeup brushes that are perfect for stippling and dry brushing. We grab a brown, a couple different grays, a green. All of these colors are perfect for an earthy tone, and we stipple and dry brush over each tree. Now, no need to worry if you go a little overboard in some spots. In a moment, we will come back through and start to grime the bark back up and desaturate the terrain piece. I enjoy using contrast paints when I grime up my terrain pieces, though I am running a bit low. Any ink or matte paint that you feel can fire through an airbrush really should just do the job. In this case, I go over the deep recessed areas using black and brown paints. For just about everything else, I use a mix of brown, sepia, and green inks to bring the excessive stippling back down to a reasonable tone. Bark is not just brown, it can be all kinds of weird colors. Experiment, have fun, and if you don't like it, you can always prime and start again. After we grime up the trees, I decided to go back through each section of bark that stands out to me and give it a little bit more detail. I guess you could say I go around each tree and give it a handful of edge highlights over areas that are protruding, or sections where I want more contrast. Things like the larger roots or any cracks and crevices in the bark are good locations. And to finish off the painting of the trees themselves, I do a very, very light dry brush of a cream color over the lower sections of the bark or any areas I need just a touch more pop in color. So there you have it. The painting is complete and the trees are functional and could honestly at this moment be used on the tabletop, but I just gotta add a little bit more. To do that, we grab some PVA glue, cotton balls, and a couple green and brown inks and start to create a murky concoction. This combination of ingredients will be perfect for creating Spanish moss that hangs down from a number of branches on each of our trees. Stretching out cotton balls and soaking them in glue and ink may be a bit of a messy project, but it actually looks surprisingly good. And when all of the vegetation dries, we can dip back into painting for just a moment. To touch things up, I come back through with a light dry brush of a light gray and a cream color. And of course, I have to give it a little spritz with my airbrush by using a sepia ink. This will really help give all of this Spanish moss that extra detail it needs. Oh, and speaking of extra detail, I found this interesting flower thingy at a big box craft and hobby store, and I finally had a project to use it for. So I decided to clip and glue down some neat looking flowers in the Spanish moss, as well as running up some of the bark. Of course, don't hesitate adding a skull or two around your trees to give it a more of a grimdark feel. I still have a decent amount of these GW skulls that I use for my terrain and model bases, and it does an awesome job spicing up any terrain build. I give these trees another once over, seeing if I want to add anything else, but I am calling these guys done for today. Let's go ahead and check out the finished product. There you have it, folks, my take on some twisted trees. I'm excited to have more neat looking trees on the tabletop, and I'm happy how they turned out. I always get a little nervous making more organic terrain builds because I feel like they tend to be harder to create correctly and effectively, but I think I did a decent job this time around. They definitely give off an Everglades kind of vibe, which is exactly what I was going for. If you all enjoyed this video, don't forget to do all the other socials, check out the Patreon if you'd like to support my work financially, comment, like, and subscribe. Until next time, folks, I want to thank you all for watching, and of course, happy gaming.